Hey there, YouTube. Cheers. It's a little watered down lemonade. It's a warm day today here in northwest Indiana. I'm just checking the battery. I didn't plug my computer in. I got some battery power left, 65%. Thought I'd come back at you with a part 3 and quite possibly 4 of some recent vinyl finds. It's Saturday, September the 2nd. We're in the month of September already. It seems as though we just started this year a couple of weeks ago, and now we're going into the home stretch. Hope that everyone is doing well out there in YouTube land, taking care of yourselves and staying hydrated for those of you who are experiencing this heat, to those who experienced the hurricane and that really inclement weather. I pray that you all are doing well and are recuperating. And so I'm just getting back in the house a little while ago after I got off work, my part-time job. This afternoon I went to 2 thrift stores and a pawn shop and an indoor flea market looking for music. I didn't find very much today. I did find some CDs, but I only got 3 records. But I had some other records that I've gotten in the last, 2-3 weeks that I've since made the last video I've listened through, and thought I'd share some of my favorites for those. I might have to make 2 parts, a part 3 and a part 4 for this one. So let's get started. Today, I didn't find any records at any of the thrift stores, but one pawn shop I went to, they did have some records. They had some $3 records out in a crate, and then they had some more expensive records in a case behind the counter. So I got 2 $3 records. First one is Edgar Winter, White Trash. This album is from 1971 on the Epic label. I do enjoy this record. I'd only heard a few songs from this album before. Give It Everything You Got, Fly Away, You Were My Light, and I did like those songs, so I was glad to get this for just $3. The second album was a $3 album at a pawn shop. It's Tom Scott, Street Beat, on the Columbia label. This is a 1979 release. I looked it up. I'm not familiar with any of the songs on here, but I am a huge fan of Tom Scott. I have a number of his albums. I was going to say maybe this was one of his first albums on the Columbia label. It might be. He left Old, and I think he went to the Atlantic label and then Columbia label later 70s. But I am a huge fan of Tom Scott. Street Beat from 1979. And then this was the record's falling down here, that I got at the at the pawn shop. The Who, Detour. This was an album they released in 2019. It was their first new album in, I want to say, since the 80s sometimes, and I have been warning it. They have a $20, well, you probably can't say, they had a $20 price tag on it, but he gave it to me for $15. And it's the marble copy. It's a really nice, bright marble label. Marble vinyl on the Polydor label. I have heard bits and pieces of this album. Not the whole thing, but he wanted 2040, said I'll give it to you for 15. I said fine. And so I'm happy to get this. I will listen to this maybe later today. And so that's it for what I got today. These are some other recent vinyl finds. Sorry, I had them stacked up over here, and they're falling. So this is another OK Records compilation. I think I showed another one that I got with Screaming Jay Hawkins. I'll put a spell on you. But there were 5 volumes to this, 5 2-record sets as a part of this collection in the early 80s that came out on the Epic label. OK was the OK label, OKEH, was a subsidiary of Columbia, I want to say, and it started like way back in the 19-teens. I think I read somewhere that they released the first blues record by a black artist sometime in the like early 20s or something like that. And so they were primarily a soul label. Carl Davis did a lot of production for them. So this album has a few records from a few different artists. Major Lance, I am a fan of his. There's a few of his songs on here. In fact, side 1 is all him. There's some from the Matadors, Billy Butler and the Enchanters, Walter Jackson. I'm a big Walter Jackson fan. Welcome Home is on here, as well as It's All Over. I do like those 2 songs. The Opals, which is a female group, there's just one song, Does It Matter, on here. And then some stuff from the Artistics as well. 1, 2, 3, 3 songs, and then 2 songs from the Vibrations, which was another band that I really like. Most of this music was recorded between 1962 and 1963. There's some the artistic stuff on here is 64 and 65. So I have not had a chance to listen to this, but I'm really excited to have this. Roadmaster, prog rock band from the early 70s. This is 1976. It's a self-titled album, Roadmaster. That Magic Feeling, It's Been So Long, and I Still Want to Love You are some of the songs on here that I do like. This was a $5 record, but when I got this from a record store, when you buy them in bulk, they do make deals with you. So I probably got it for $3, $4. This is another one, Roadmaster. This album is from 78, I want to say. And It Doesn't Mean a Thing was the song that I had heard before. I did listen through this, and I was very happy with the other songs on there. Rastus, another rock band. This album from 72 on the Neighborhood label got some country rock tones to it. Keep On Pushing is a song I like. What Will It Take? Big City Letdown Blues. Also some songs on here that I like. Great record. George Howard. I'm a huge George Howard fan. From 1986, Love Will Follow. This is on a label, TBA, and I did a little research. So a lot of this stuff on this TBA label that he released in the 80s was reissued by GRP, because I have one of these albums on CD called Personal by him, but I have it on the GRP label. So when I saw this label, this TBA label, I'd never heard of it before. Still haven't, but apparently he did release some songs, some albums on that label in the 80s. Most of them were all reissued by the GRP on the GRP jazz label. But this, the first song on here, Love Will Follow. Oh, I played that song maybe 3 or 4 times. The side 1, September Rain, and Slow Walking. Side 2 was up-tempo stuff. It was no drum machines. It's really dated from the 80s. It Can Be Forever and Come With Me, I did enjoy, but I primarily listened to side 1 on there. It's really smooth jazz. This album, Nothing Spectacular, the Jacksons. I slept on this album because I went back and listened to it. I knew State of Shock on here, and yeah, with Mick Jagger. But I listened to some of the other songs. We Can Change the World, One More Chance, Be Not Always. Those are some great songs, and I probably had this album before. Didn't really pay much attention to it. State of Shock was the popular song on there, but I was really glad to get that album. This one was one of the most unusual albums. The Fugs, It Crawled Into My Hand, Honest. On the Reprise label. This is one of the most bizarre records. Even the cover looks bizarre, but it sounds good. I'd never heard of this band before. The Fugs. If you're familiar with them, love to hear your comment on them. But this record is really unusual, but it sounds good. They make it work. I don't know if they had any other albums or not. I didn't look it up, but this one, yeah, I like it. More jazz. Hank Crawford, Mr. Blues, on the Atlantic label. I do enjoy, and this is a mono pressing, I do enjoy his music on the Atlantic label, some of the stuff he did on Atlantic, as well as on the Kadu label. But this was a good album. I listened to it all the way through. I am a fan of the whole album. It was very much worth it. Another one, Brass Monkey, on the Rare Earth label. This was another really great album. This was a blind buy. I had not heard of them. I got it because it was on the Rare Earth label. The only other, besides the Rare Earth band, the only other artist I'd ever seen on this label was R. Dean Taylor. That song, I don't even remember what it was. I have it on a 45. Uncle Sam Wants You or something like that. But Brass Monkey, yeah, this was the first song on this, Sweetwater. Oh, what a way to start an album. I really do enjoy this album. Was so glad that I got it. So this was one that I thought I saw it in a record store. Mr. Bojangles from Sonny Stiddett's early 70s, but it's maybe 73, 74 on the Cadet label. He's doing mostly remakes. He has a version of The World Is a Ghetto, Killing Me Softly, and Got to Be There that I really, and Ben, the Michael Jackson song that I really like. I had this album, I knew I had this album back in the 90s when I started collecting. And so I bought this last week because I saw it in the store. I knew I had it before, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And so those of you who know I'm going through a divorce, don't know if what's going to happen with that, if we'll work it out or not. But so anyway, I may end up leaving this house, and so I have a ton of records, of course, in the basement, and I had packed some of them away in these giant totes that my wife had bought. She got the wrong size, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and they're just, these totes are huge. They're like this. You can't see my hands, but they're super wide. And so I packed a bunch of records in there, and they're so heavy when they're in there, you can't really do anything with them. So I literally stacked them in the corner in the basement and left them there. They've been there for a few years. And so I was going through those records, putting them in smaller bins, and of course, I found, it's down in the basement, I found my other copy of this. And that's where, when I thought I just lost it or had given it away, but no harm, no foul. I have a cousin that recently started collecting music, and collecting vinyl again, and so I will just save it and give it to him. A couple of more, my battery's running out, I didn't charge it, and we'll probably just have to do more than one video to this. This is another one, James Talley, Blackjack Choir. This is a bluesy country rock record. Dare I call it a little blue-eyed soul. Looking at the cover, if you can see, James Talley is the white guy sitting up there in that group. And this is a really great album. Blues Man, the lead song on here, just raw. It sounds good. It's a great way to start an album. And it's just really, yeah, I'm really glad on the Capitol label. Really glad to get that record. Oh. Here's another one, Sweetwater is the name of the group. The album is Melon. Weird album cover, just a picture of a melon. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. Watermelon is rather tasty though. This is another record from the mid-70s, I want to say. No, early 70s. 71. Yeah, 71 on the Warner Brothers label. It Ain't Easy, I'm Happy Today, Take It From the Splice Boys, and Faith, and Join the Band are just some of the songs on here that I do like. Sweetwater Melon from 1971. Great record. Some more Ramsey Lewis. Big Ramsey Lewis fan. This one is called Funky Serenity. After he left the Argo label, he signed with Columbia, and this was his first release on the Columbia label in 71, I think. 73, I'm sorry. And so he has a version of If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right. He does a version of Nights in White Satin. He makes it funky, though. Betcha by Golly Wild, Serene Funk, Dreams, and a version of Where Is the Love. It is a really nice album on the Columbia label. Big Ramsey Lewis fan. Glad to get this album. I have been wanting that one for a while and I found it. The Intruders Super Hits. This is just a greatest hits compilation. I'm not a huge fan of the Intruders. This is on the Gamble label. It was reissued later on the Sound of Philadelphia label. But I do like the songs on here. Cowboys to Girls. They originally did the song together. Tierra, the Spanish soul band, remade it. I like Tierra's version better, so I don't really listen to theirs that much. United, Love Is Like a Baseball Game, When We Get Married, just some of the songs on here. They had another one that I thought was on here. Yeah, I don't remember. But I have been wanting this because I don't have any of the original albums. If I find some, I'll Always Love My Mama. That was the song I was thinking of. That's not on here. That's later. This is the earlier stuff on the Gamble label. Then, when they signed, when Gamble and Huff formed the Sound of Philadelphia International label, rather. Then they had some more hits, and I'll Always Love My Mama was one of their big hits. I have that on a 12-inch, though. But I don't have any of their early albums. If I find something, and it's at a great price, great. If not, I'm happy with that collection. This was an album from Joe Thomas Masada. I got this for $10. Great album. I was looking on the cover. If you can see it, really great cover. I like this whole album. This came out in 75, on the Groove Merchant label. Anything on the Groove Merchant label is just really funky and just raw and good in my opinion. His version of Poinciana on here I think is really, really nice. But the entire album is good. I've listened to it all the way through. Great album. Where are we at in time? So, yeah, I'm going to stop it at this one. There's going to be another part 2 to this that I'll do. So, again, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to plug up this laptop I pray that everyone is doing well out there. Try to take care of yourselves. Let's watch our mental health statuses. There's so much going on in this world today that will just put you down, that will drag you down, and so we just have to be real careful. I believe, and just guard our eye gates, our ear gates, as to what we allow ourselves to see and hear. It does have an impact, I believe, on just our lives, our quality of life, and just our attitude about life. So, find some good news, something that makes you happy sometime. So, cheers. Thank you all so much. I guess I'll give McDonald's a free plug here with their logo on here. Have a blessed day. Thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves. Cheers.